Hi folks, welcome to Blacklight Youthwork Games Volume 2, Video 2. I realised I never actually showed you the finished cactus, did I? I showed you me making it, but there you go, that's the finished thing. Here are the little hoops to have a little go at throwing at it. Anyway, it's a great game. Here is a very simple rundown of the kit that you're going to need to have to run a Blacklight games night. Actually, it's surprisingly easy. The entry-level games cost virtually nothing. They cost something, but they cost virtually nothing. Let's have a little look on this table here and see what's laid out. These little stars you can get in various shapes and sizes are fluorescent, and what you'll find is that this card is probably one of the most fluorescent things that you will come across. If I just pop this little UV torch on them here, bang, they're glowing straight away and like really powerfully as well. So these are going to stand out fantastically well in our room. What we've used these stars for in the past is to put them around by an activity. So say, for instance, cluster all your green stars around one activity, or your orange stars around another activity, put all your yellow stars around another activity. So it kind of themes the night as the kids go through. They're playing like the green game, as it were, the yellow game, or the pink or the orange game. It's such a cheap way of really making it look themed or really organised, which maybe it isn't. While we're on the subject of this little UV torch is a gem. These are about a £5, something like that, maybe a little bit more. This is only a small one, you can get bigger ones. £5, £5, that sort of price. They're well worth getting. Let me say that for these stars, this torch, and everything else we're going to look at, I'll put links in the description below for where you can grab them on Amazon. They're really cheap. So much of this stuff is under £10 and will give you a great night with your youth. So here's the two different types of UV torches we use. This is the old school fluorescent tube style, and this is the new LED torch. This LED torch costs twice as much as this, but is much better. It's way more powerful. If you look at this fluorescent tape here that we'll look at in a minute, look at how well the strip light makes it fluoresce compared to how well the torch, the LED torch, makes it fluoresce. They both make it fluoresce, but the LED torch, way better. I have no idea how good my camera is at performing in low level light here, but here is the UV LED torch just on my t-shirt. Right, look how direct and how bright that is compared to, this is the strip light. You get a much more general sense, but a much more weak sense of light. Less directional, more general, way less powerful, but cheaper. Now, just because these strip lights aren't very powerful doesn't mean we can't use them. In fact, there's one game for which these not being powerful is absolutely ideal. Any of you like me have a writing block on your desk, this is the game for you. This kit here will get you into Blacklight gaming for under £10, and your group will never want to play another game afterwards. All you need to get is a security UV marker like this one, and this will write you a little note in invisible ink on the pad. You can't see the pad, the ink on the pad with your naked eye, especially if we dim the lights in the room. But then when the UV light comes into play, hopefully you can see that there says hello. So this little light enables us to have secret messages on this pad. So what we do is we write a whole bunch of letters for missing words. Typically we write a whole bunch of letters on the pad, take those pieces of paper, let's say 100 of them, and spread them around the room and tell the guys you have to go and get a piece of paper, bring it back to the table, and when you're back at the table, put your lamp up to the piece of paper to see if there is anything written on your page or if there isn't anything written on your page. So only when they're near the black light are they able to determine whether they picked up a good piece of paper or a bad piece of paper. That is such a simple game. It's a couple of quid for a torch, it's a couple of quid for a pen like a security marker, and you are playing UV games already. Full disclosure, we didn't spend a couple of quid on our torch. We bought a pack of 4 on Amazon for about 15 quid, so we'll put a link for that in the description below for the pack of 4 strip light torches and also for the individual LED torches. This is something we found recently which we think is awesome, which is this cloth tape, which is extremely fluorescent. This is so cool. We've just bought this, again coming in a nice big pack off of Amazon, maybe 12 quid to get all this, and each of these rolls is I think 5 meters long. So either way, we've got plenty of cloth tape to use as either start your game standing here markers, or here we've got our 2 football tables, the UV tape onto the tables, and that's going to fluoresce really nicely. And we've got 2 different fluorescent balls to go on the table, so as the kids play table football, it's going to be blacklight table football for one night only. So we'll be using this cloth tape not just to mark out the table football table, but also to help put markers on the floor as to say, like, stand here at this line when you're playing this game, or stand behind this line, or stand inside this box while you're playing a game. That's what we're going to be using this tape for. It's going to be really good. We want to create team stations for our youth so that we can split them up into groups on the night itself and have them play the game in groups. Very unfortunately, one of our local businesses in our area is closing down, and it happened to be an office supply store. So these massive sheets of card, which would usually be about a £5, were reduced to £1 each. So I've bought a bunch of these, and we've got teams 1, 2, 3 and 4 marked out on that. So this is going to be their team area where we'll keep their torches, where we'll keep their... We always buy them like glow stick wristbands and all that sort of things, just to make the sort of fun in the dark. Here you can see got Nerf guns ready and waiting. We've actually got more Nerf guns, and probably going to use different ones because these ones have a bit of a complicated reload, so we'll probably use different ones. Each of these targets, there's 5 of them there, have the different scores of 100, 2, 3, 4 and 500 on them. I've actually made a video all about making a Nerf gun shooting alley up here. You can view it, so do go and check that out. But this is a super simple way of getting your group doing a blacklight game. And again, what's the blacklight element to this? One little piece of card. It's so simple. All we need to do is to put enough light on the shooting alley to make the card fluoresce and just dim the rest of the room lights a bit. We don't need everything to fluoresce. And now that's the big trick with all of this, is be wise with where you put your investment. All the cost in blacklight games is in the lights themselves. So if you make games or design games for your group to play, which don't actually require massive amounts of blacklight, but use blacklight, you're running a blacklight games night with virtually any blacklights. Little bit of a trick there, and it works well for us. Our kids love playing ping pong trick shots into this tin. Here's our little bag of ping pong balls, and inside the bag you'll notice, if I can show you there you go, that some of these colours indeed fluoresce. So the blue and the yellow and the white balls all glow up very nicely, which means it's super simple for us to run like table tennis throwing, like ping pong ball challenge, just like Do Perfect. One of the reasons why I'm down at church today setting this stuff up is because when they were last used, one of our 4-foot blacklights turned into a 4-foot rain stick, and as you can see the bulb is no longer present in this one. So one of my tasks today is to go and buy a replacement bulb to match this one, so we'll have 2 4-foot lights which are able to stand upright or be laid widthways, and we've also got 2 2-foot blacklights here. So these 2-foot and 4-foot blacklights are the main workhorses for our event, alongside this Chauvet LED shadow panel. This thing is a beast. It's like the modern replacement to those old school UV cannons, if you remember those massive great big lamps that the bulb itself was about that big, but the lamps themselves were like that. They were mainly used for like nightclubs, filling the whole dance floor, and that's what this thing has been built to replace. These are about 90 quid, so probably around 100, 120 bucks. Great investments though. I've had mine for something like 10 years now ish. Love it. It works really well, and the light it covers is just brilliant. Way more powerful again than the fluorescent strips. These things are great. I've had them for years. I've honestly had these 20 years. I bought these when I was still living at home with my parents, and I've just kept replacing the bulbs, and they just keep working fine. They are good. They're just weak. the power that comes off of a fluorescent strip isn't really there unless you get multiples. Not a lot of point buying one of these, whereas there's a big point buying one of these. So to buy the units for these, they're very good. They're low cost to get into the game with these. Even the bulbs to replace only cost about £6, and you can put them in a normal fitting. Again, links to the LED panel, or the 4-foot and 2-foot blacklight strip lights will be in the description below. I hope that you guys have found something inside this video where you go, yeah, we can do that in our setting, whether it be just using the torches and the notes that you're running backwards and forwards with, whether it be setting up like a shooting alley where you actually only need to have a few lights on the specific bits that you want to fluoresce, or whether it be buying the big lights, getting the LED panels and all that sort of stuff. Don't really know what your budget is, don't really know what your room spec is, but I hope you see something that's going to spark some ideas for you and to enable you to run some great blacklight challenges with your youth group wherever you are. If you like the video, I've made a whole bunch of YouthWork games ideas videos that you can watch. I'll link it at the end of this video and I'll put it in the description for you. Hey, thanks for watching. Grace and peace. Bye. After having made that video, guess who remembered there was actually some spare blacklight lamps up in the loft? Me. And guess who realised they were the right size to work in our room? Me! Oh my word. I'll be honest with you, when I finished making this video, this was not how I envisaged this room being right now. But I have just done exactly what I told you about, which is replacing the strip lights with the UV lights. I found some in the loft, can you believe that? I found some spare black lights. So if I turn that uplighter off, our room is now blacklight heaven. Come on! Game on!